Sorry, Dad.
What are you doing, Mom?
Oh, I'm working on my homemade Christmas gift. This is our family tree. Here's you, and here's Daddy. Daddy only makes homemade Christmas gifts that involve sitting on his butt at the computer. Oh, and over here, this is your Uncle Scott. Your Uncle Scott only makes Christmas gifts that involves purchasing a large, powerful new tool. And up here, this is your Granny. Your Granny only makes Christmas gifts that involve subcontracting a large portion of the work to other family members.
Who's that at the top?
Oh, here, these are your great-grandparents. Without them, most of these people wouldn't be here today. Would you like to see some pictures of them?
Sure.
All right, let me see if I can conjure up some photographs.
Wow, how'd you do that?
Oh, it's Christmas magic, Max. Christmas is a magical time of year. I'm hoping to create a spell that will keep me from drawing Uncle Dave's name in the future. Look, here's your great-grandfather when he was about your age.
Cool, I wonder what his life was like.
Maybe you should ask him.
How much rum did you put in that eggnog?
Christmas is a magical time, Max. I bet we can make it happen.
Let's see what this album can do. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Into this album I want to go. Great Grandpa, what was your early years like?
So in my early years, it was a treat to go into Gaze, which consisted of one general store that was Gamble's store, and they had a restaurant part of the time, a hardware store, and a barber shop. George Bowman was the barber there. The haircuts were then 25 to 35 cents. One time he tried to raise the rates to 50 cents for haircuts, and the people got so up in arms that he had to go back down to 25 cents. He had a doctor's office, Doc Hardinger, who delivered most of us kids. And his office was over the barber shop. They had 2 grain elevators, one of which caught fire, and they had a little fire department with pump handles on the side that you pump. And when they tried to use that against this tremendous elevator fire, so the elevator burnt clear to the ground.
Whoa! Mom, come see what this album can do!
Max, I'm busy. Go ask Daddy.
Dad, you've got to see this!
Go ask your mother, Max. I'm busy. Oh, come on. That was a ball.
Great Grandpa, did your parents work hard?
Dad and Mother were both real hard workers. They would get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on the farm, several cows to milk before getting ready to do the day's farm work. Dad was very quiet, but really a very good man. Although he did have a little temper, but he kept it pretty much under control. But I do remember one time when a cow kicked over a bucket of milk. He hit her over the rump with a piece of a 2x4.
So, what was a good time for you?
I can remember that a big time for me was when Mother and Mildred and Gertrude would go into town and go into Mattoon on Saturdays, and I would get to go to them, and I would get to go to the theater. They had one then that just showed mostly westerns. The name of it was the K Theater, and at that time, Hoot Gibson, Ken Maynard, Tom Tyler were the big western stars. And that used to be a big time for me when I could go in and go by myself, go to the show. And I can remember when the show would be over and then come out in the sunlight and it was time to meet Mother and go home. It seemed to me that my big time was over.
I'll see you get a square deal.
Was a big thing for me, was those Saturday
They're trying to steal our
shows.
wheat. Skunks, are we? Goodbye, Peaceful. What'd you call him? Peaceful Patton. His mother raised him not to fight.
What did you do for fun in the big city?
One of the big things particularly for the weekend, were the shows down at the Civic Theater. They would bring in the vaudeville shows and the big band shows for a week at a time. They would come in on Monday morning and they would start the show. Red Waring used to come in. He had the Whistler, Elmo Tanner, quite impressive. Frankie Carl at that time was playing piano, I believe, with Red Waring, and later on he had his own orchestra. Horace Height was one of the big bands coming in then. Ted Lewis, who had the old worn-out top hat, and did the act with the song Me and My Shadow, and had a black man following him around as he sang the song. That was quite impressive. Guy Lombardo was a big event when he came in. But I enjoyed all of those.
The queen waiting there in a rocking chair, just blowing her top on gator spear. Looking all around and I'm trucking on down, cause I'm glad to get back to my shanty town.
And I can recall Olson and Johnson, one of the premier comedy shows, coming in.
Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Pardon me. May I please have your autograph? You know you're my favorite actors. Oscar always takes me to see your pictures. We just adore them.
Well, thank you.
Who are they?
Why, Olson and Johnson.
Olson and Johnson? Oscar!
And they had the thing about Olson would come walking down the aisle, calling out that he had a plant for Mrs. Jones. In his hand, he would have a potted plant that was about 3 inches tall. And he was looking for Mrs. Jones to give her that plant. And about 20 minutes later, he would come back down the aisle still looking for Mrs. Jones, and the plant had grown so it was about a foot tall. That went on throughout the whole show.
Hello? Who? The chambermaid. It's for you. Hello?
Yeah. That's bad. That's good. That's good. That's bad.
Hey.
That's good.
Hey.
That's good.
Hey. That's bad. Hey, what are you doing?
That one?
What are you doing? I'm helping her sort a box of strawberries.
Mrs. Jones! Mrs. Jones!
What do you want?
I've got to deliver this plant to Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones!
Look here, my friend. We're making a motion picture here.
That's a matter of opinion. Mrs. Jones!
Yes, he's a little weak. The doctor's got him on a soup diet. Soup diet?
Yes, he told me to eat 3 plates a day.
3 plates a day? You ought to be feeling swell.
Oscar! Oscar!
Right back. Joe, Harry, Willie, where are all my assistants around here? Now look, Selby, you seem like a bright young man. How old are you?
23.
23. Well, that's a patriotic age. Uncle Sam needs young men like you. I presume you're ambitious?
Oh, yes.
That's fine. What would you like to be?
29.
Say, fella, how much would you charge to haunt a house?
How many rooms?
Okay, boys, okay, no more interruptions.
Mrs. Jones! Mrs. Jones! Mrs. Jones! Oscar! Oscar! Mrs. Jones! Mrs. Jones!
Great-grandpa told me about your first car.
The first car that we had was a Model T. Must have been around 25 or 26. Dad never learned to drive. The Fords then, Model T Fords then had 3 pedals. The left one put the car in low gear and pressed down, and then after releasing the handbrake on the left side, kicked into high gear when the pedal was released. The pedal on the right side was the brake, and the one in the center was for reverse. Well, Dad was trying to learn to drive once and was in the driveway and was going to pull the car into the garage. But as he got closer, he got confused and he was pressing on both the low pedal and the brake pedal, but the low pedal was taking over, and he ran right into the garage and almost right on through the garage. So that was the end of his attempting to drive. Then we had a 31 Model T Ford that was new and was a real good car. And we drove that until 35 when the V8 came out, which was really a step up in transportation. I remember it was brand new, and I had a date with a gal over at Windsor. And it was in the spring when the ground was thawing, and I got it stuck in a girl's dad's driveway, and he pulled me out with a tractor. I don't think I remember ever telling Dad about that.
Tell me about when my granny was born.
I recall that when Betty Kay was born, we were to go to the St. Francis Hospital out at Beech Grove, which is out southeast of Indianapolis, quite a drive. And Irene was having labor pains, so we called the doctor and started out there. And on the way out, we had to go close to the Hill, New York Central freight yards. And sure enough, when we were on the way out there, there was a big long freight train across the track. We sat there for quite a while, and I was really getting antsy. But it eventually got on by, and we got out to the hospital. And then Irene was in labor there about 20 to 30 hours, so I guess we didn't need to be in any big hurry.
Got any more stories of Betty Kay and trains?
I can remember Betty Kay and I were taking a trip over to Mattoon, and she had just passed her 5th birthday, and the ruling on the railroads then was that children under 5 years of age could ride free. So we were taking advantage of that, although she had passed her 5th birthday. So when the conductor come around,
Tickets, please.
he stopped to talk to her, and he says, "You're not 5 years old yet, are you?" But she let him know right away she was 5 years old. But he just smiled. He didn't say anything.
Dad, come here. Look right there. What was it like going bald?
All of the Burston family were prematurely bald. I had never thought much about it. I went to the barber shop to get a haircut, and this shop was a little different than what I was used to, in that the 3 walls were completely covered with mirrors. And I can remember this fellow giving me a haircut, and I looked in the mirror and I could see the back side of some guy sitting in a barber chair getting a haircut, and he had a big bald spot on the top of his head about the size of a $50. And I remember thinking a little bit of pity for the guy, and then I realized that I was the only one in the shop.
What did my great Uncle Dave like to do as a kid?
This just in. Whoa, Nellie, we've got some fantastic rallies out on the hardcore today, and we're going right into the action.
Dave went to North Farmington High School. He made the tennis team the first year he was over there, so we enjoyed following the tennis team around at the various meets they would have, particularly in the spring. All of the schools would go to University of Michigan for the state meets, which lasted 2 or 3 days, and we would go over there and spend that time, watch all the high school tennis teams. I don't think Dave's team ever won, but they were always over there.
How about my great-grandmother? Did the family appreciate all her hard work?
We were driving then a 58 four-door Chevy, and Irene to go to the store would have to go at night or on Saturday when I wasn't working, which was kind of hard on her having to go at night. So I looked around and checked on possible getting a second car. Finally bought a green 60 Chevy, one of the old standard shift cars. So this day I picked up the new 60 Chevy, and Betty drove the 58 home and parked it in front of the house, and I parked the new 60 Chevy in the driveway, and Dave was there, and so we went in, and I gave Dave the keys, and he went up to Mother, and she was fixing supper in the kitchen. Dave went up and gave her the keys and told Mother, he says, because we love you. And Mother looked at the keys and couldn't figure it out for a minute, and then she realized what it was and went out the front door to look at it, and June and Don Saunders and other Joe next door were out there, and it was quite a thing that Irene realized that she had her first car.
Smart. Max, where are you? Surprise! Do you like surprises as much as me?
In '64, we had our 25th wedding anniversary, and unbeknownst to Irene and I, Dave and Betty worked up a party. So we were playing golf one day and came home and put the car in the garage. There weren't any cars around because Dave had gone over to some of the neighbors and worked out a plan where he would have everyone that came to the party to park in their driveways. So we walked in through the garage and through the laundry room and opened the door into the family room, and there that was full of people. That was quite an experience. Saunders were there, and the Kohlers, and Paul and Norma Engel, several over. We were really surprised. We were floored. Betty and David arranged for sandwiches and things, and they gave us, all our friends gave us a marble coffee table, which we still have and we're very proud of. It was quite a party.
Great Grandpa, tell me something funny about my mom and Uncle Scott.
I know Irene says that when she would babysit Scott and Tracy, there was no problem in babysitting Scott or no problem in babysitting Tracy. But there was a problem sometime when she was trying to babysit Scott and Tracy. And this one time, Scott had really been teasing Tracy for a long time, and Grandma kind of got tired of it. So she rolled up a newspaper and whacked Scott over the head with it. And Tracy clapped her hands and says, "That's just hit him again, Grandma."
It's been nice talking to you. Merry Christmas.
I'm about talked out. Remember, if you sell to the movies, why, I get some of the royalties.
Thank you.